Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year, everybody. Thank God that I'm here right now, and everybody who is joining us right now. It's a pleasure to have you guys. I know some of you might be watching us right now, and some of you might join later to see this live stream. But whatever the case is, we appreciate you guys for coming around and joining us. We are trying to catch up with the new year. All right, we haven't been doing as much as live stream as we are supposed to be doing, but you know, there's a lot of work also going on the ground, and we keep, you know, we're catching up with that. But yeah, it's a privilege to be here. It's 2023, and it's a great, because this is going to be my very first conversation to have with my brother here. I'll put him in right now very soon. But I want to ask you guys one thing. Please copy this link and share with somebody. Share with your friend. Share with anyone you know. All right, we're going to have very beautiful conversation. It's not going to be too long, but it's going to be something short and impactful. So I hope that you guys are going to be here to listen, and I hope you learn as well, because, you know, this is how we unite our continent. This is how we unite our people, by telling different stories. And you guys, you know that the tagline of our mission, what we stand for, is that we are the voice to the muteless, because we believe that everybody has a voice. We're not the voice to the voiceless, but we are the voice to the muteless, because we believe the system of this world, it always, in a way, kind of like mute us in a way that we cannot express ourselves. We cannot, you know, tell our stories. But this is the time not to complain. This is the time to step up and to tell our own stories. And thank God for even all these social medias that we have, because today we have YouTube, and we're able to tell the stories. We're able to bring different guests and you guys to hear their stories, where they're coming from, what they've been through. And today I have an amazing brother here. I just met him yesterday for the first time, and he was gracious enough to allow me to have this conversation with him today, to hear his story and to hear everything. So I hope you guys are going to be excited and going to be ready to hear this. Just as usual, before I begin this conversation, I'm just going to have a quick word of prayer, and then we're going to start our conversation. Well, God, I thank you for today, that you've given us this moment, this time to talk as brothers, as Africans. And, you know, you've called us, you know, to have this peace, to have this love, to have this unity, to be united with one another. And through this conversation, it'll help us to get to a place where we're supposed to be. So as we're having this conversation, we just pray that your grace and your wisdom will be here with us today, from the beginning until the end of this session. In your precious just name I pray. Amen. So everybody who is joining us right now, I appreciate you guys for joining. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If it's your first time to be here, just know that, you know, we're here for you. And our mission is very simple. Our mission and our vision is to unite the continent of Africa. And today, without wasting time, I have my brother here. I'm going to bring in, and we're going to start our conversation right away. Idris, welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. I love your energy. Oh my God, bro. I love your energy.
I gotta tell you that today my energy is not as much as it's supposed to be. But you know, I think there's some sort of connection, you know, between us. And you know, when you feel energy from someone, you can actually release that energy as well.
Yes. True. I think energy is, you know, it's contagious, you know. So if the first time you're meeting someone and this is the kind of energy that you're giving, that you're emitting out, man, I think it's, for me, it's still early in the day, so that's a positive thing for me. Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate that, brother. Let me just say this, man. We never knew each other before. We just spoke for the first time yesterday, and we got connected with one of our brothers from the UK, African brother. And so shout out to him. And we're here today for the first time. Let me just say, first of all, thank you for your time, and you know, for you taking this time and to sit down with me to have this conversation. It means a lot, because you were the very first guest in 2023.
That's an honor for me as well, you know. That's an honor to me. And I'm honored that you even thought of me, inviting me. I think what also like drew me to this is the fact that it's for young people, and it's by young people, so it's for all of us, you know. So that's a great thing, you know. Yeah.
I gotta say, your apartment is looking good right there.
Thanks, man. It's
Okay, I gotta give it to you, man, because here in Africa, I mean, we have to learn how to celebrate each other. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a lot of issues, you know, most of time that you see like pulling each other down. Like if someone is doing something good, we don't celebrate each other. We don't support one another. We don't stand for one another. And that's the thing that we're struggling with unit as well, because today, you know, in the entire continent of Africa, we basically struggle with the same issues, same things, but we fight separately. So we don't have that collective power to help us to stand together and to have the common stand. And I think that's what we are trying also to deal with, that, you know, if well, we always say this, that if Kenya is in trouble, then the whole Africa is in trouble. If Kenya is celebrating, then the whole Africa should celebrate with Kenya as well. The same thing Tanzania, the same thing to any other country, you know, across the continent. So I want to say, I want to tell you this, that, you know, we celebrate you. I know a little bit about you, but today we're going to, without wasting time, I would like to give you a chance to just introduce yourself, especially for those who don't know you, you know, a little bit of your background, anything that you'd love people to know about you.
So, thank you, but then I also find myself in a place that I'm not used to doing a lot of lives and like interviews. I used to be the person behind the camera, you know, the person like who would set up things and, you know. But a bit about me is that I'm Kenyan, but my parents, my late father was a Kenyan Somali. My mother, she's from Ethiopia. So I have families and you know, all my half of my family.
Just a second. So your mama, she was Somali, right?
No. My father, my late father was Kenyan of Somali origin. By my mother, she actually moved to Kenya from Ethiopia.
Yeah. And you're true African right there, from everywhere.
I have all these exactly. My friends, I think when I was in undergraduate, people used to call me, in class especially, they used to say I represent the African Union.
Exactly, man. Your definition of our mission, one Africa.
Thank you. But now the story, I think for me, my story now begins in Nairobi, where I grew up, and you know, like the foundations of basically the person that I am today was formed in Nairobi. I grew up in this slum called Korogocho. That's, you know, and just like it's just like any other slum in, you know, I've been to Tanzania, I've been to like Uganda, you know, South Africa. Like you see all these places, like the informal settlements, they're all the same. They all share the same kind of like challenges, you know. So I grew up in such a setting, but I always say thank God, because for me that wasn't it didn't become like it didn't limit me in who I could become or what I could become. And so from growing up, fortunately, I mean, after high school, I was able to get like scholarships for my undergraduate, and then later on for my undergraduate, and immediately I was really drawn to journalism, of course, because of like what happened in my personal life. And so where I grew up, this is the thing, in most informal settlements or slums, usually the government forgets about the people. Like usually these are downtrodden, like very marginalized. You don't get like, you know, basic services. And for me, I thought even to do things like crime, like there's huge insecurity in most informal settlements, and the government doesn't give much attention to them. So for me, I thought journalism is a way to cause or to effect change in our communities. So I got into journalism by passion. I didn't have a journalism background by training. I did international studies as an undergraduate, but I was passionate about journalism. So I tried to get internships. I tried to write stories for like Daily Nation or NTV. And so that's how I basically got into journalism, just pushed by that passion to try and change. And then I immediately, once I graduated, I started doing what is it called, internships here and there, like I really, and at the same time also, you know, trying to support my family because I'm the eldest in the family. And from CNN, I got a lot of opportunities at that time. CNN hired me as a freelance producer in Kenya, and they allowed me to travel to all these different places, to different countries. and working with different reporters. And then I worked in 2020. So I got a chance to work for DW. They hired me as their East Africa correspondent, a junior correspondent. So I worked there for a year. And then the same year in 2020, I learned that I got a scholarship that I got admitted at UC Berkeley in California. That's the University of California, Berkeley. To pursue my master's. Another great thing, you know, a full ride scholarship, never expected. So I moved in 2021. I moved to the US. So where I have been since, but of course I've been traveling back and forth. And then so I graduated last year, 2022 May. That's when I graduated. And then CNN offered me these, you know, what I'd say, a dream job. You know, as a producer at the international desk, where I'd be in charge of like stories. I was basically a global producer telling stories from different countries around, you know, around the world.
Wow.
And so, and so that's from that, and then, you know, the tweet, I worked on different stories, and then
let's hold that thought a bit. Hold that thought. We're gonna get there. Gonna get there. You know, thank you so much, first of all, for sharing this journey. But I think before we get there, I'd love to know how hard was it for you to pursue the dream that you had growing up? Because obviously you say that this was your passion, right? It wasn't even something that you started, but it was your passion because of what you saw going on. So how hard was it for you to pursue your passion? Because there's a passion and there's a something that you started about, right? So we always struggle with that, especially when it comes to jobs. Should I just follow what I love, or should I follow what maybe my parents have told me, or what I started, you know, about? How was it hard, and how did you navigate this?
So, you know, one thing you just reminded me when you mentioned the parents bit. So my late father really wanted me to become like a lawyer or a doctor, because that's where you'd see very tangible changes or like effects for the people back at home. So if you're a lawyer, you can represent people. There was a lot of like extrajudicial killings and, you know, young people being arrested sometimes over nothing, or just because. So as a Somali minority in Kenya, we were very targeted, you know, just a lot of things. Or even if a doctor, there would be, let's say a kid who's sick, a mother who's sick here, or, you know, people, it's tangible, you know, like the service is very tangible. But then I wanted to do journalism. Also, this is because my dad really introduced me to books, like to reading from such an early age. So I was for instance, I really loved to read. And, you know, even I was telling a friend that I got introduced to Charles Dickens, the poet. And this is like, I think, an 18th or is it a 19th century poet, way before I was able to even comprehend what the poetry was all about, you know? So it's that, I believe it's that passion towards change that got me into all of these. But then, so with the whole journalism thing, for me, it was, yes, I wanted this. I had this passion. I saw what it can do for people.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. I saw that, for instance, you watch, you know, a journalist goes to a certain village or a certain area today. The next thing is that you see maybe they'll do a follow-up, and the next day they will do something like a follow-up of the story. Oh, so the government has intervened, or this organization has intervened, or someone has come up to help. So I saw that, okay, change is possible. Like in journalism, you do this thing, and then the next thing, something is able to come and, you know, like to change the situation. So that's what drew me. But then I didn't know where to start.
Yeah.
So because I'm just this kid from Koch. Koch is the nickname for Korogocho, you know. Where if I say that, oh, I'm from Korogocho, people start looking at you like, okay, we can't even leave our phones next to this guy, you know. Or we can't leave our bags or stuff next to this guy, because you just never know, you know.
Korogocho,
to the extent, actually, Korogocho, I had people who, you know, a lot of friends who are afraid to say where they were, where they came from, you know, because you say, "Oh, I'm from Koch," and then people start looking at you funny. But for me, so I honestly don't know what it is about me, but then I was also able to connect with people, and you know, I believe the confidence from that I was able to get also from reading, and just I'd say maybe good luck and God. So I was able to connect with people and given opportunities here and there, like I just, you know, share my story or share the plan. Like, yo, I remember ATV, for instance. These are the first guys who ran. I think I was 17 or 18, I think 17, 18 there. In high school, I borrowed a camcorder, a very small handheld camcorder, a Sony handheld camcorder, and there was this story about daylight magging, you know, in our slum. So young kids as young as 13, 12, up to 15 years would rob, would snatch from women and every Sunday, women who are coming from the church. So these kids just snatch bags from them. So I was like, you know what? Let me go get this thing. Let's do something about this. So I told a friend of mine, let's do this thing. So we did something like investigative, and we're like, you know, just the camcorder, and we're like, okay, let's film this thing, and you know, so we filmed it. Then I went to NTV. The good thing is that I went to the desk. So the thing is, we know people around there, you know, like, you know, there's a certain reporter's name. So I went to the headquarters here in town, and I went to the reception. I was like, okay, I'm here for so and so. And I don't know this person, mind you, I don't know them. I don't know them personally. So I told the reception, here, I'm here for this person. I have a story for them. And the reception was like, okay, are they expecting you? I was like, okay, yeah. So they called. And then, so they'll send you somewhere else to go and pick the call, right? So I went, picked the call, and I think I spoke to the reporter. I told her a brief introduction, but I went straight to the story. I'm like, yo, so we filmed this story. I have A, B, C, D. We have these. And this lady was so impressed. She's like, okay, come upstairs. So I was allowed to go up to the, you know, to the newsroom. And there are all these different people there. So they saw the footages. So they just previewed it. I'm like, what? You filmed these? And like, so they were really impressed. So they called the managing editor to come and see as well. So their boss called him. And the guy was like, okay, what do you guys need? How can we help you? Like, you know, can we give you more support? And the thing, I mean, we were just kids. So the thing is that we didn't know how, you know, we were even wondering like, why are these guys so impressed with all these things? But anyway, the thing is that they gave us audience. And the thing is that immediately we left the station that day, they aired the story. They aired that story.
Wow.
But here's the best thing. I think it was on a weekend. It was on a Sunday actually when we took it. We just finished filming the same day, right? So, and the thing I forgot to tell you is that I also interviewed a local area chief. I found a victim. I interviewed, because you just see in the TV, okay, how do they do it? There's the victim, there's the action, there's also an authority, right? Someone to give you, explain the situation. So they aired the story for a whole week. And the next thing that happened is that police were sent to Korogochi to go and patrol the area, you know, to go and patrol. So ensuring that the security, at least, I know they arrested some people. A lot of them were innocent. That's the unfortunate thing. But then here's the thing now. It came at a personal risk for me because people somehow they knew who did it, who filmed it. I have no idea how they do it. So I was like, so the police were looking for me to arrest me, man. Like I did that, and I was just a kid. So and the families whose kids were arrested were also looking for me. You know, it's like you did this to us, and so regardless of like what the outcome was, the peace, the serenity that it brought, it also brought like personal, you know, risk for me. So I had to go away from home, by the way, for some time. So that's how it got. For me, it was sort of like baptism by fire, like getting into journalism, like real journalism through that experience. And I say it's baptism by fire. But that one video now brought me more opportunities. Like
Wow.
I would use it, be like, yo, I even did this, you know. I use that as an example. I'm like, I was able to do this, I can do more. Some people
Yeah.
say no, you know, that's obvious. Like
Mm.
you keep on knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Someone told me, until you ask, the answer is always going to be no, you know.
Mm.
So the first
Mm.
thing you have to do is you have to ask. So
Yeah.
and I kept on asking, I kept on asking, I kept on asking. And
Mm.
then I met this reporter when I was
Mm.
18 years, she's a South African reporter. She was filming in Madare, another slum,
Yeah.
and we helped her around, like me and a couple of friends. We helped her around. She gave all of us her business card. So,
Mm.
and the thing is that I didn't know about the business
Mm.
card, so I kept it. You know, I kept
Yeah.
the card until
Mm.
when I joined university and I was looking for an internship. I went back
Mm.
to her
Mm.
and I kept on emailing. So I went back to the business card and I kept on emailing her.
Yeah.
And I told her, hey, my name. So I basically just introduced myself. I'm so and so. I met you at this place. And she ignored me, like I think 4 times. I sent like 4 emails, ignored me.
Yeah.
Eventually, I kept on calling, but eventually
Mm.
she got back to me eventually, and I
Mm.
that's how the whole story began. Like one internship, CNN, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wow. That's beautiful. I would love to know your experience because you started in DW before CNN, right?
No, I started CNN. I was a freelance producer for CNN,
Yeah.
and to then I moved to DW. I worked for them for a year, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I came to the States. Yeah.
Okay. But I want to know first. So when you're working as internship for CNN, you were in
Mhm.
Kenya, right? But when you moved to
Yes,
States, that this is like the recent story, right?
yes.
All right.
Yes.
So before we get there, I would love to know your experience in DW when you went there. How was the experience there? Because I was talking to you yesterday about the
Mhm.
skepticity of people
Mhm.
towards, especially Western media. Most of them we
Yeah.
see, for example, we see like BBC Africa, we see CNN, we
Mhm.
see all these
Mhm.
different Al Jazeera and all those stuff. But
Mhm.
particularly DW, how was the
Mhm.
experience working there? Like the people, the news, how you guys produced, the
Mhm.
authenticity of the materials, and like everything related to that. How was it?
I think, to be honest with you, so the thing is that I really enjoyed working for DW. You know, there wasn't a format of how to do things. You know, I'd say it was one place where I would suggest a story, and
Mm.
the people or the editors would commission or would, okay, this green light the stories would be more of like, okay, how do you want to do it? So they left it for me basically to like describe it
Okay.
and they let me like describe the story and tell it the way I could best, and then they would guide me, you know. Sometimes,
Mm.
unfortunately, sometimes is that the people on the other side of the world don't
Mm.
understand the issues on the ground, or sometimes they want you to tell a certain story, like from their own perspective, which is
Yeah.
which can be problematic at times,
Mm.
because there's a way, like let's say perspectives really matter, for instance, like in telling African stories. So if you
Mm.
don't understand what really happens on the ground, you cannot
Mm.
come and dictate how you want it to be done, how you want me to interview this person, and or
Mm.
maybe. So there's usually one thing I think in journalism where there's a certain angle that you're looking for, and you
Yeah.
try by all means to get that answer from this person. So sometimes you
Mm.
might have to cajole or like to manipulate the
Yeah.
person in questioning. So I try to avoid that, and I would even tell my bosses. The good thing, I also had very incredible colleagues who would
Mm.
uh, who would support. So I think DW's I can say is like I had that freedom, and of course when there were points or where people wanted to
Mm.
manipulate things, I would try
Mm.
and explain it. I would try and give my own perspective or the local perspective as well. So
Yeah.
I had an incredible time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. And you worked there for 1 year, as you said, right?
Yeah, I worked there. Unfortunately, I only worked. It was the same year that I got the job that I also was invited to come to. I mean, I also got the scholarship to come to the
Yeah,
US.
yeah. So you had to move,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah,
so that's when you moved to the States, and then you
yeah.
also, continue to work there. And how did it happen when you moved there and you started? Because you worked with them in Kenya, but when you moved
Mhm,
there as well, you went there as a student, and then you started to
mhm.
work. I want to know the journey, how you started from where you started to where you reached.
So you mean in terms of CNN or?
Exactly.
Okay, so when I came to the US, it was like when I moved, it was just specifically for school, for graduate school. And
Yeah.
then here's the thing. So this would be the first time that I'm doing journalism as a course, as a
Mm.
course of study. Like I told you, my
Yeah.
undergraduate was a different program.
Yeah.
So the 2 years was an
Mm.
intense journalism program and documentary. So I was
Mm.
involved in like sharing or working on stories from the local communities here in the US. So I was in California, so do stories from like Oakland and
Mm.
Chinatown, all these different places.
Yeah.
And one thing that I was always drawn to was like stories of the like marginalized people. Even here in the US, I was always
Mm.
drawn to like stories about immigrants or like people of color. A lot of the stories that I worked on.
Mm.
So a very intense program. So immediately I finished the program, which was last year May.
Mm.
Uh, I reached out to CNN as well because I already had that contact with them and stuff. So
Yeah.
and I told them like, yo, I'm graduating
Uh,
in a couple of weeks.
uh,
And they offered me. They're like, okay, yeah, why don't you just you can come and work with us on this role,
yeah.
which was like the first time as a contractor at the international
Mm.
desk. And
Mm.
you go through a series of training because I was never for me, my job most of the time was on the field. Like
Yeah.
I was that guy who was like traveling behind the camera, traveling and
Mm.
stuff. So the desk job requires you to sit at one place and just
Yeah.
observe the world, like collect news
Mm.
from a lot of phone calls, a lot of computer works and stuff, and just
Yeah.
writing a lot. So that was the
Mm.
job, so which was different, but then it required a lot of
Yeah.
training to get used to the systems. Also, there's a lot of like programs and stuff. And the best thing is that I enjoyed it because it also introduces you. I was working on stories like from Ukraine stories or Latin America, Brazil, uh,
Mm.
Peru and
Yeah.
Colombia, or in the Middle East, in Ukraine. I covered
Mm.
Ukraine a lot
Mm.
and Europe in
Mm.
general. So it's a different thing. Like before, I was
Mm.
just like an Africa guy. I was only limited to Africa before, but now
Yeah.
it's like the world is your oyster. You have to experience
Yeah.
and share all these, work on all these things. So yeah, it was very, very. I think I really, really enjoyed it, and the people that you
Yeah.
work with. Yeah, you meet people from different walks of
Yeah.
life.
And and I would love to know how does it look like being there, and especially when it comes to news like what we see all the time. Because one thing that CNN they're famous of is that every news for them is breaking news. How does it come every single how does it look like working there with all these people, all this news coming in? How how does
Yeah.
how does how does it look like? Because for me, I'm gonna be very honest with you. All right, for so many,
Yeah.
because we've been having this conversation for so long. For
Yeah.
example, one of the okay, I'll get back to this later. But I
Mhm.
just want to know, how does it look like you doing that kind of news? Is there any sort of review, like to make sure that this is it's truth and this is authentic and all this stuff? Like, I would love to know that, because I haven't been there yet.
I think that's really funny.
Who has the final say of the news? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Okay. So
I'm not
there's
getting you in trouble, right?
I hope not. So anyway, because I'm done with that part, so I'll just
Mm,
so how the news works usually is that someone will flag the news, right? So let's say you are somewhere in Dar es Salaam, so
mm,
something happens and you
mm.
tweet. It's a
Yeah,
major thing. So
yeah.
maybe the last thing that I worked on Tanzania was the airline. I
Mm.
forgot the name. This airline that
Yeah. Precision
crashed.
air.
Precision, exactly. Yeah, that's the last. So it will be posted on Twitter. So
Yeah.
someone you share on Twitter, and then, or for most news organization, there's something. I forgot. It's a system for us. There's a
Mm.
system, so it will be flagged, and everyone sees it. It's in red. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in all the computers, there's a red thing. So that means it's a breaking news. So you
Yeah.
see it, you go immediately to confirm. So how do I
Mm.
confirm? So if I'm on the Africa desk for that day, so I go
Mm.
and confirm. So I try call precision. I'm like, yo,
Mm.
there's ABCD happening. Is this
Mm.
true? So I try and
Mm.
confirm with them. And then
Mm.
precision, most of the time, of course, since the news is not out yet, they wouldn't want to share it. So the next
Yeah.
thing I would do is like call the local police.
Mm.
So for me it was good because I had contacts in like different places. So
Yeah.
for instance, I had like contacts in like Zanzibar or Dar es Salaam and Arusha, all the major places, and I'd know
Yeah.
journalists in these places. But now, for instance, some small village, there's no way
Mm.
that I would reach it. So what we use
Yeah.
is you go to what's the national broadcaster? Is it
Mm.
ZB? Like the
Where?
national broadcaster is in Tanzania. What's the national
Tanzania. We have
TBC, I think.
TBC. TBC, yeah, TBC.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So TBC, you go on TBC, is like, okay, TBC says this. Like, okay,
Mm.
then that's a national broadcaster. We're going with this story. And
Yeah.
then I write something small. I prepare something and I say attribute it to TBC. I
Mm.
send it to someone major. An
Mm.
editor who's a senior news editor.
Yeah.
They look at it, they approve
Mm.
it, and
Mm.
then they send it out. So when it's sent
Mm.
out, now everyone has it. Digital has it. The TV, the studios have it.
Yeah.
So it's the person at the studio who would now say it's a
Yeah.
breaking news accident thing, like. So most of the time it's and the thing is that it's just you trying um, to bring. I think I don't know. I don't really know the marketing behind it because it has to
Yeah.
do with the marketing aspect.
Yeah.
So I don't know the reason behind it, but usually it's something that
Mm.
the studios would send out the story. Okay, breaking news, this and this is happening. Sometimes it's not that breaking or it's not that exclusive, but then,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
so my question to that,
yeah.
for instance, that means if for example you see this news and then you reach out to Precision Air, maybe they talk to you
Mhm.
or police. So
Yeah.
if those guys they give you information that is not right,
Hmm.
eventually you guys will end up broadcasting it because it comes from
Yeah.
the yeah.
The
You
airline,
understand
yeah.
where I'm going? That
Yes.
sometimes information that are coming out of government, and especially here
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
Africa, it's not really
Hmm.
truth of what has
Yep.
happened.
Hmm.
How do you guys go to the bottom of to find the truth of the matter, the fact, like beyond government, maybe beyond that company, because always they want to cover, their stuff or their mistakes or whatever
Hmm.
it is, they want to put
Hmm.
out
Hmm.
a good image. So how do you get that? How do you get to the bottom of the truth? Because at the end of the day, these guys they might say just this, and then you might end up broadcasting, and the whole world knows this is the truth, but it's not. It's completely opposite, and we've seen that a lot with CNN. Yeah,
So unfortunately, the thing is that I cannot speak for CNN, but what I know is
yeah,
that the benefit of the doubt is always given to like an authoritative voice, which is the
yeah,
government. So
yeah,
if let's say the Tanzanian government says this
mm,
and that, like say something has happened, and that's the
yeah,
government. So if it comes out to be false or later
yeah,
on, it's on the
mm,
government, so it's not gonna be like on like CNN. So CNN will
yeah,
definitely like, or as a news agency, just any news agency, any
yeah,
news agency.
what?
Are
Yeah,
you you reached out to the authority, and the authority told you, let's say it's in 10 people died in an accident, or in a terrorism attack, 10 people died. So the government told you it's 10 people, but then Red Cross tells you it's 100 people. You definitely you're going to follow the government's. But then if you are able to verify it's 100, then it's just that your government, or the government who said it's 10 people, are the ones who will look bad at the end of the day, So it's not on the agency. So even the news that will be out, will be like, okay, the Kenyan government say 10 people died from this attack, but Red Cross says 100 people. Red Cross has more than 100 people, so you might go with the more. Red Cross might be more trusted, so we'd go with that. And unfortunately, the government will look terrible, Most of the time, and they don't want to. There's some people who don't care, unfortunately.
Exactly. We have those people a lot. Me personally, my brother, I'll tell you, I've been hurt. I know you're not a spokesman of CNN, but I'm just releasing this because I represent a huge group of people, and you have been from inside to kind of like see where I'm coming from. Me personally, I've been hurt by a lot of news that came out of that room. The first one, it was when our ex-president Magufuli died. The way that the news they broadcast, and I remember I went there to their YouTube channel and I commented with very big message, and also I made a spoken word of what has happened straight to them. I'll share with you maybe to see. Oh, maybe let me see. Maybe I can I can share here with you at least to see it a little bit. Let me try to. I made this spoken word because I was like, no, this is not what has happened. Well, this is not the truth, but because everybody is listening, usually a lot of news here. I've been to a few countries, and a lot of news media, what they do is they just take what let's say CNN have say, they take it, and then they translate to the languages. They release
different languages. Yes,
exactly. Like that. This big international media is like it's their standard of truth. They don't double check. They just go ahead and do that. So if CNN or BBC release a news, everybody think like, okay, this is truth. This is the standard of the truth, which most of the time it's not. But let me play this little bit for you to see. And then it's quite long, but it was the spoken word I wrote after that death to kind of like, because I was like, I must say something. Let me play this.
Okay, sure.
Better to die as a hero than to live as cowards. This is for you, Mr. President. He refused to bow down to them. He refused to accept their ideology. He refused to travel abroad, but rather to save Tanzanians. He loved Tanzania. He loved Africa. He kept God first in everything. He never missed a worship service. He reduced his own salary to save his people. He was a godly man. Before he died, he prayed for all the doctors in the room. He saw it coming, but that didn't stop him. He kept going and doing what is right in the eyes of God. He wasn't a perfect man, but Tanzania is a better place right now than ever before. He walked the talk, he fought the good fight, he finished the race, he kept the faith. Dear Western media, I tend to oversleep on Saturdays as my weeks are normally very long. So I woke up to my young cousin and Demando sitting in front of the telly watching the sending off of our dear president. I watched as this motorcade rode down the roads of the Lesotho. Wailing women and men tore off their kangas and t-shirts and laid them on the roads with the motorcades riding on them. People stood along the roads holding up banners that expressed what Magufuli was to them, and they were all full of love and admiration. Wananchi are wailing with the heaviest heart. This man was loved Western media. Did he make mistakes? Oh yes, he did plenty. He was not an angel after all. Not too, he was very flawed. But he stood for the people of Tanzania from the get-go, for the common Mwananchi, the one who hardly ever has a voice. In fact, he used to say over and over again that he is the president of the poor. When Magufuli did not lock down the country, he was thinking of his people, the common Mwananchi. Magufuli did not want us to come to you with kept hands as it is always expected by you. He wanted his people to stand on their feet with pride. He wanted his people to stop being neo-colonized. Not shutting down the economy of Tanzania drove the country to become a leading economy. We know the Western world did not like him. Of course, how could you have felt anything good for one who was always against you? One who wanted to give Africa back her voice and strength? Magufuli worked hard at stopping the agenda of colonial exploitation of Tanzanians' wealth. He worked hard to build infrastructure that could be used by Tanzania so we can start successfully among ourselves and Africa as a whole without the hindrance of unreliable roads. Utilizing the natural resources that Tanzania has, Magufuli was able to develop Tanzania from a third world country into a middle-class economy within just a short period of time. If I was your shoes, I most probably would have hated him too. Understandably, as the Western world simply cannot be without exploiting Africa. Let me tell you more. Magufuli was God-fearing. He was diligent. He was morally courageous. He had progressive vision. He has principle-centered vision. Magufuli demonstrated a selfless and people-driven leadership that continues to inspire the Mwananchi. Magufuli was one of the few leaders that believed in his continent abilities. He despised and acted against corruption. He chose to be a true African statesman. Magufuli loved his country with a passion. Magufuli loved his continent. He was so proud of his continent that he was ready to die for it. Not everybody liked him, and he was not without his critics. This is simply the way of the world, and not everything he did was agreeable. Again, it is the way of the world. Like the opposition parties, which naturally would, as it is the job for an opposer in believing that they can do better. Is that not their job? Just like a mistress will oppose the wife. It comes with a job description. I agree that in some instances, he could have done better, but the right that he did has been strongly felt. I am now watching as Mwananchi are bidding farewell to a fallen giant, and Tanzania is wailing. Western media. The National Stadium is filled to the brim, as it was earlier this morning at the St. Peter's Church, where a mass had been held for him. Tanzania is crying because we know what we have. Having said this, I have a question for you, Western media. With your world being so full of faults and ugliness, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? I humbly ask that. You use that energy you have on Africa on your plans. Tanzanians, let us be like Magufuli. Let us all stand for truth, moral courageous, and emotional fortitude. For this is the best way to stand up to bullies. As the dear auntie says, let us continue loving Africa and standing for Africa. Lala Salama, Baba Magufuli. Lala Salama, a great son of the soil. We thank you for your leadership. We celebrate you, Baba. Tanzanians, God heard our prayers, and he will not be silent. He will not be silent. He has been there before Magufuli. He has been there during Magufuli, and he is going to continue to be there even right now. Mark my words.
Lakini ninajua Watanzania wananipenda pamoja na ninyi. Ninajua ninayoyafanya ni kwa maslahi mapana ya Watanzania. hasa Watanzania maskini. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu, tuendelee kuchapa kazi, tuendelee kumtanguliza Mungu mbele, kila mmoja kwa imani yake, lakini tujenge Tanzania yetu. Mimi ni mtumishi wenu na nataka niwaambie ndugu zangu, siku moja mtanikumbuka. Na mimi ninajua mtanikumbuka kwa mazuri, si kwa mabaya, kwa sababu nimesacrifice maisha yangu kwa ajili ya Watanzania maskini. Kwa hiyo tusimame pamoja, tusibaguane kwa vyama, tusibaguane kwa ajili ya dini zetu, tusibaguane hata kwa makabila yetu. Sisi tuijenge Tanzania.
Yeah, my brother. So, yeah. So that's basically what I did. That was the very first time that I was really hard, because I remember that time I was in South Korea and I was just looking at all this crazy news. Imagine in South Korea, I'm looking at news in South Korea, how, you know, how they write it in the language because they took it from all these, you know, big medias, and it was sad. It was the first time, but then the second time it was, you know, I told you a little bit yesterday this thing that was happening in Ethiopia, and I didn't know that you have roots in Ethiopia. Everything that was happening there, we as a Swahili nation, we decided to actually go all the way to Ethiopia to cover, to see what's happening. We were seeing so many negativity happening and so many stories. And when I talk to my friends, I hear something different. So I went all the way to Addis Ababa. The time that they were telling that people, they have to evacuate, you know, Ethiopia because it's going to break down very soon. That's the time that we went there. And I was covering everything, and things was just completely different from what, you know, I was seeing. So I think this is another thing that I would love to hear your thought on that, because I know you were there when all these things as they were happening, and I mean, you saw what happened. You saw how people stood up, not only Ethiopia but the entire continent actually standing and be like, no, you guys, forget about you. We forget about you and all this stuff. I would just love to know all these things. Is there one thing that for me, I say that, you know, this is Western media. You know, we can't blame them because they have their own agenda, right? It's not African media. So if they talk negativity about Africa or something that is not right, it's because they have their own agenda. So the best thing for us is to come up with our own media's platform. For us here in Swahili Nation right now, we're doing YouTube, but our plan is to have a media, you know, hopefully in 4 years right now left to have a big African media, SNN, Swahili Nation Network. And I'm glad that I'm connected with you, because you can help us a lot, you know, when time comes. So to navigate all this stuff, so that we may not just fight with words, but we may put our stories out there. We may tell the side of our story, the way that we want our story to be told, the way that is happening on the ground. And what really, it was really hurting a lot of people, because you could see that you have some journalists who are not even in the land in Ethiopia, but they're in Kenya, and then they're giving news about, you know, Ethiopia, what is happening there, right? So you look at this and you're like, no, this is not right. And not only that, but not only CNN, but BBC, but Al Jazeera, and all this media. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and your insight on that. I think it will really help to heal a lot of hearts that were really hurt, you know, during this process, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't want to be the advocate of, you know, like all these Western media and stuff. But here's the thing. I think for a very long time, the way things have been set up is that Africa to the rest of the world, even to other third world countries, Africa has been portrayed as a very downtrodden place. You know, Africa has been portrayed as a place. It's been identified with just like wild animals and wild people, and you know, crazy things like diseases, conflicts, like rebels, and you know, coups. So for a very long time, that's how Africa has been identified and has been portrayed to the rest of the world. Even remember, even other third world countries, go to like Southern Asia. That's how, you know, you meet someone from South Asia, they will tell you like, oh, Africa is, these, when you tell someone you're from Africa. So that's how it's been done. And I also believe that in part is also by our leaders. Our leaders have been the one who have enabled this kind of portrayal, right? Unfortunately, so in newsrooms and then in international newsrooms, like you said, yes, there's always an agenda, and each Western media station always has its own, way of telling things, its own way of working on stories. Like Europeans have a specific way, the Americans, have their own specific way as well. So fortunately for me, I think what I try to do a lot is advocate for African stories, advocate for and not just for any African story, but for positive African stories, because Africa is not just the war. Africa is not like wild animals, or Africa is not like politics which don't work. Remember, was it last year? Or was it in 2021 when I think 2020 I think it was early last year. We all saw what happened in the US after the elections. When the former President Trump didn't want to accept the will of the people, and we saw what happened. So if that happened in Africa, and let's say in Kenya, for instance, if that happened, it would be like big, it would be like these crazy people are, storming Kenyan parliament and over, but then it happened here. Like the rest of the world, everyone saw it happening here in the US, where they say like where democracy lives. We saw that. But then has it changed the way the rest of the world views America? No. Why? It's because like the American media and the American people are so they're very patriotic, they're very nationalistic. So they don't choose a few things. They don't choose, for instance, this gang violence here. But you'll not hear people talk shit, if I can say the S word, bad about America, or, there's always all these crazy things you hear happening, not just, gun violence, but also just different other things happening in the US. You won't hear about it. But a single coup in Africa, that's it. That's the news. A single accident, like let's say an accident happens, and like Victoria, we've had a couple of accidents. That's it. Oh, we had the Ethiopian airline in 2019. That's it. So the entire people questioning even the pilots, and these are properly trained people, you see. But then I think we also, like I said, trying to advocate for more positive stories. So Africa is not just about that. There are a lot more positive, more strong. I was telling someone, like, look at M-Pesa, for instance, invented in Kenya, right? Like you go to Tanzania with the rapid busting in transport, like in Dar es Salaam. There's so many countries, even here in the US, which doesn't have the, what was it called? In Tanzania, called the rapid something with the bus thing. You have this transport system where it's very on time. The bus system.
Hizi mwendo kasi. You call mwendo kasi?
Yes, Mondokasi, right? It's a rapid bus, something like that. So the way it's set up, it's very efficient. Look at that. You come here and like there's a lot of cities here in the US, a lot of states in the US which do not have like a proper transport system, But then as Africans, we don't look at that. Like look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia's, is developed in so many ways. And then look at all these different countries, has a lot of, very diverse culturally, the languages that you speak, look at basically just everything about Africa. It's 80% positive things and 20%, you can say it's negative here and there. But then people always look at the negative side to tell the story of Africa. So now they like what you're doing, for instance, and now with the invention of the internet and all these different social media platforms, it's for us as like I think young Africans to share all these positive stories. I think a lot of people are doing great things on TikTok and YouTube, you know? Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Indeed, indeed. And that's amazing, man. But you know, I really want to know before we jump to the final question. I'd love to
Sure.
know, man. Can I count on you? You know, I told you our plan in 5 years is to have right
Yeah.
now, right here, SNN, you know, Swahili Nation Network, and not CNN, it's SNN. You know, your Swahili Nation, and
Yeah.
and you know, I will need. Let me just say you this, man. I'll need you. You're my African brother. I'm gonna need you. I don't know where you're gonna be. I don't know what you'll be doing. I'll disturb you because I have your number now to make sure that this
Exactly,
is
exactly, exactly.
yeah. It's our thing, man. So
You
I
have
would
to you
love
have
to.
to make it you have to make it real, you know, you have to make it actual. And right now I think we live in a world that everything
Yeah,
is possible. So you have my
yeah,
number, and the thing is that, like I told you, it's
yeah,
basically just how I got into journalism as well. You
yeah,
knock the door, you knock and
mm,
keep on knocking. Sometimes
yeah,
someone might say no, but then there's always when you don't ask, the answer is always no, you know.
yeah.
So I'm gonna be there, inshallah, for you. And yeah, you have my numbers, you have my socials, so make it real.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. So now
Yeah,
I want to know all this thing how it came to pass. This
yes.
tweet thing, what come? I want to believe that they have a system to double check. You know, for a long time. For me, I want to believe that this is something maybe for me. I'm just saying maybe
Hmm.
they knew.
Hmm.
You know, since the time you joined, because you always
Hmm.
do background check when someone
Yes.
comes. But I want to know how did this come? Is there anything that influenced this to come, and what is all about these tweets and everything?
I mean, so yes, that's the that's unfortunately one of the my for my experience of my journey with CNN. It came to end with these unfortunate two tweets that I
Yeah,
posted on in 2014. Still very young, I was still new to this social media thing. I can say like we're still getting used to it, you know, and where you just post things without context, without thinking about, you know. And listen, like I would never have known that, you know, like 8 years, 9 years down the line, I would be somewhere at a global stage trying to do things, you know, for such a global media player. And
yeah,
so one of the days I worked on a story. It was just like my usual shifts. And the thing is
yeah,
that I really worked hard at my job. You know, I really worked hard at my job. Sometimes you have to go out of the way to bring stories to life, and you have to speak to different people and stuff. So anyway, on that day, on the 13th of November 2022, I was asked to contribute to a story about the Israeli elections. And I did.
mhm,
I did contribute to the story. So I co-authored actually because I was asked to be part of, to manage the team that is covering, the CNN team that is covering the elections in Israel. So, and I was managing this reporter, and then, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu had been asked to form the government. So for us, you send it out. You write something and then you send it out. So fortunately, there had already been a report. So mine was just to contribute a very short and a very small part to the report. So I did, and it was sent out. And the next day when I woke up to all of these news about this CNN reporter and all this, which I was shocked, to be honest with you. So the thing is that, like you say, there's always going to be background checks. So when I started that specific role, there was, you know, background check which was done, and usually I think it lasted like 2 weeks before the final, you know, the eventual, the results came back, and they're like, okay, yeah, you're good to go. So on these, they will check everything. They will check your criminal record. They'll check if you're a defaulter with financial, you know, services. They'll check everything. It's almost like every bit of your life, you know, the courts and all these things. So you have to put in your social media accounts, all these things, basically. So I don't know if how that passed, or maybe that tweet wasn't, those tweets weren't like as bad for them because I hadn't joined CNN at the time. And then if you look at it, like one was, it was about World Cup. It was around the World Cup time when I made those tweets, and one was just, as a football fan, and I was a Bayern Munich fan for a very long time, so it was naturally for me supporting Germany during the World Cup match between Germany and Argentina. So the hashtag that people are using was Team Germany, Team Hitler, to show support for Germany. And I joined the bandwagon, like innocently tweeting this thing, not thinking that it's gonna cost me, like my job, for instance. So so this organization, it's this Israeli media watchdog organization, investigated me. They found these two tweets. They brought it up. They formed sort of a social media campaign to get me fired or for me to resign. So CNN called me. The HR people, they called me, asked me. They asked me to do what is it called? To explain the tweets, because they know it was from a time that I had not joined, or rather, I had not joined the company at the time of making the tweets. So I explained everything and the context as well, because remember, context is really important. In every setting, context is really important. So I did explain the main why, what happened, and the situation, the circumstances behind it.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of days later, the same organization did another article. They said, CNN is still working with this journalist who said A, B, C, D. And the thing is that in the world that we're living in today, in the internet world, it's very easy to twist things, to twist words. At the time of posting those tweets, for me, it was just about football. I was just an innocent football fan. But someone else came, and now I think with the power of social media again, so they mounted, because with the mounting pressure, my boss, one of the big people at CNN called me, and they're like, okay, unfortunately, because of all these things that's happening, we have to let you go. So that happened, and I was like, okay, thank you. I think it was a good opportunity that you guys gave me, and yeah. So that was the end for me with CNN. Unfortunately, these other guys had damaged my reputation. Like all those years of working hard for these, for my name and the kind of work that I was doing, it was like all going to down, the drain. So yeah, so that's when I wrote the story as well, my side of the story, my story rather, to the context, which really matters again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've explained it well.
Exactly, man. It's loud and clear. I wanna know, how did it affect you? Maybe, I mean, your reputation, or who you are, and obviously, I don't know if you're looking for another job right now, but or you're in another job, but how did you see anything like that?
So the thing is that I did not expect it. I did not expect that. First of all, I thought CNN would stand by me, because there's always internet. I mean, you see a lot of like white journalists being trolled here and there, and the companies would always stand with them. Even at CNN, there's other, like, if I can say, white reporters who said, some even said worse things than what I said, but the companies would always come, the company will always come and defend them, or they'll just have to do a public apology, and that's enough. But for me, I think, again, if you look at it, is because I'm Muslim, like, because even at that article, there's like two other Jewish or Israeli reporters, but which they never went after. So it raises the question, like, why did they go for this guy? Like, he's black, he's Muslim, because it's all visible in the name, right? So I couldn't whatever I tried to like defend myself, or it didn't work. So I just gave them my story, like the context, because I meant no harm. I think when I moved to California, for instance, that's the first time in my life that I ever met a Jewish person, And of course, I think before that, I also learned about the Holocaust and what it really means about all these things. So I don't think there's no way that I would have, in my senses, come to hurt people that have become part of like sort of like my family, I've had Jewish people over at my apartment back in California. Like we've shared meals. I met them ugali, and and they invite me to their homes as well, So we formed like a community together. So so when these guys twisted everything and they say that I hate Jews, so it was kind of like, it's like, yo, you don't really know me, so you can't say this about me. So that really, so the thing is that cancel. Yeah, anti-Semite. And the thing is that, I think the thing that cancel culture does, it's that it's people who do not have, people of color, for instance, they're the ones who are mostly affected by it because they do not hold any power in societies like this, in white spaces, So it's easy to dispose a person of color than a white person, right? Like if we tell it the way it is, I mean, you go to the UK, for instance, Piers Morgan can say all these crazy things, but then he'll still be there. But you, a black person, try and say the same things, I mean, you're behind, you'll see the door the next day. And but it also affects you. But the thing is that it also affects you. But if you try, the good thing is that I've had a very positive feedback, especially from the story that went out, and friends and family reaching out and being supportive. I think for me that was the most what kept me going. For me was that support that I had, and to sort of also, because I did not let like that dim my light, like I know I'm talented, and I can share the skills, and I can share my story with a lot of other people. So which is what I've been trying to do all this time. I'm consulting with a few like non-profits organization. So that's what I'm doing, like sharing training, basically training some organizations on how to best shape their story. And the fact that I have this international experience, also share just like the kind of question that you're asking me, for instance, how do they tell these stories, how do they choose? So now it's my role, like, to speak to organizations or to speak to people and shape how how they strategizing and how they place themselves.
Absolutely. So what is the way forward for you right now? What do you have in your plate, and what are you working on right now?
So right now so thank you for that. So right now, one of the main things that I want to do is like to teach, because when I was going into the graduate program, I wanted to teach and also keep on I'm waiting for like in terms of media, in terms of journalism, I'm still waiting for a few feedback from a couple of like organizations. But meanwhile, apart from like consulting for these organizations that I'm doing right now, is like one Australian organization which is like based in Kenya. Has an office in Kenya. I'm working with, and a few, and even here in the US as well. Like I'm working with one organization as well as a communication consultant. So teaching, I want to teach, and I want to share my knowledge. I want to share my experience with a lot of like other young people in Kenya. I've received an invite at one university in Kenya to come and speak with their students. But I want to share these. I don't want it to like there's the late Miles Monroe, the speaker. I don't know if you know
Love
him.
it, man. I love it, man.
Yeah, like I don't want to bury the dream. He says like there's a lot of kings, and at the cemetery. So I don't want to go with this down and be like, that's it. So I want to share the knowledge And you know, there's one thing that you said. I think as Africans, sometimes when one person succeeds, we try to bring him down. But what if, like, I share these with you? It's like, yo, if you do, our stories are always different. But what if I share with you how to do it, how to approach, how to write the email, how to speak to this person? You know, it's not like success 101, but also it's just you can do A, B, C, D, and you will get where you want to do. If you knock enough doors, someone will open the door. And just how to shape our narrative and how to shape our stories, because the way we package our story really, really matters, you know. So I want to do that.
Man, I gotta say this, man. We really need. I'm glad that you're my African brother. You know what I'm saying? I just love the fact that you are, because we have so many brilliant people, just like you, that we really need in the continent, man. I gotta say this, man. We need you. We need you, man. Like whatever you are, because I believe Africa is not just a place, but it's people. We are from everywhere, man. You are there right now. We need you. And I'm just glad to know that your plan is that to raise other Idris, you know what I'm saying? To raise all these experts, because we have a vision and we have opportunities in Africa, but we lack skills in so many levels.
Exactly.
I'm seeing diaspora, and I'm seeing Africans, even those who were never even born here in Africa, like having this urge to transfer that knowledge, transfer that skills. Just a couple of days ago, I met with this one brilliant man. He moved from the States. He's living here in Tanzania. He came with this amazing technology, you know, and his plan is actually to train Tanzanians. His plan is to have a lot of to train them to be able to use this technology of painting and to start doing that work, you know, across the country. We don't even have that technology. It's new. And I've seen the machine. We have seen everything. So this is kind of hard, that we really need to transfer our knowledge, our skills, our understanding, raise the generation that will strive for perfection. At the end of the day, we're not going to need to go out to find job out there, but to work here inside. You know, I'll have Idris here in SNN here working in Africa, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I want to appreciate you, man, for that vision. And I respect you right now even more, you know, just knowing that, you know, that is your desire, because I believe that, you know, there's a need to that, and you taking that step, I think it's one step closer to that direction that we want to go as Africa. And it's an example for everybody who is watching, everyone who is out there. You don't have to keep it for yourself. You know, let's lift each other. When you succeed, we succeed, because we're all Africans. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for you to succeed and me to keep me down there and just to go on the top alone. You know, we gotta carry each other. We gotta hold one another. We gotta have the spirit of unity of our forefathers. You know, Kenyatta, Nyerere, and you know, Nkrumah, you know, Selassie, and all these Lumumba, and all these different you know, forefather fought for it. You know, and it's amazing to have you and to have that vision in you, man. So I want to appreciate you. Thank you for that on behalf of Africa.
Definitely. That's really amazing, man. Thank you so much. And how Sorry, go ahead.
No, I catch you. So go ahead, brother.
I'm saying, like, yeah, definitely. I'm happy to, you know, definitely happy to be there and you know, for us to all work together to make this dream a reality. So you can always count on me, man.
So you know, all the time when we have guests here in Soil Nation, we have this tradition that you officially become part of this family. When I invite you and have this conversation, you are part of it. Like, because our vision is one Africa, and you're African, man. And you are the definition of one Africa, as I say. You know, you have Somali root, you have Ethiopian root, you have Kenyan root, and basically have, if we trace your DNA, we'll find Tanzanian root, we'll find South Africa, we'll find everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So you part of this, and I'm so glad to be connected with you, brother. I love you, man, and I love your story, because I got to hear everything about your
Thank
story.
you.
I love it. It's the story of of redemption, of a new beginning, because this is not your end, man. This is just the beginning of your journey, and I cannot wait to see where God is going to take you to. I know you'll be very successful, and I'll be right there to celebrate with you. That's why I'm trying to be your friends right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, Idris. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before I
Thank you so
let you
much.
go, if you have anything that you'd love to say as your final thoughts to Africans who are watching, anything, the message to fellow journalists who are working here in the continent, because I feel like we also need to step up our games, in so many ways. Yeah, if you have any word of that, I think it will be the perfect time for you to share.
Cool. So I think one main thing, first of all, again, I think your energy is like incredible. I really love that. It's super, super positive. And Tanzania, by the one thing about, I really love Tanzania. So it's a place that I always love to, to go to Tanzania. I think when I was done with my undergraduate, Dar es Salaam became my place. Like every year I would try and go there, because I really loved it. And the people welcomed me really well. I think it's one of those places you go, and I think I had a very incredible experience. Tanzania. I think my first experience was going to this called place Samaki or something like that.
Oh man, Samaki, that's my favorite place, man.
I think but one of the best experiences that I've had. But here's the thing that I want to say. You said about journalists. African journalists, or even young people, we are the mouthpiece. We are the mouthpiece for the rest of the world. It's like, how we gonna say, or how we gonna talk about our homes, because Africa is one big family, it's one big continent. So how are you gonna share stories online? How are you going to talk about the continent, the place where you come from? Think about the positive. There's 100, and every single day, think about it, there's 101 things that could go wrong. But then there's always very beautiful spaces. There are beautiful people, happy, spaces and people. Why don't you focus on the good side as well? It's not to say that Africa is like, 100%, like we're free from all these, the trouble or whatnot. But because we are the mouthpieces for the rest of the world, like how we tell our stories really, really matter.
Yeah.
So if you only concentrate on the negative, then that's how the rest of the world is gonna see, If share the happy moments, share the good sides. They're incredible, they're incredible people out there who are doing incredible things rather. So, and the other thing is that, like I said before, we're one big family. We all might have different what's it called, backgrounds and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're one big family. And families like always have challenges here and there, but from outside, someone from outside, they will see this beautiful family, forgetting about all the different challenges. So let's say that let's stay as that one big family and share the goods. Yeah.
You reminded me something very important. Thank you so much for that message. I always say this here in Silent Nation, that Africa is one big family with 55 different children, 54 countries in Africa, and that one diaspora. So if you're a dad, you have a daughter or a son, you have like a couple kids. Those kids, they don't have the same behavior.
Yes, exactly.
Even some of them, the way they smile is different. Maybe they might be even speaking different language. Depends on where they grew up. They have different character. Somebody loves studying. Somebody loves just something. Somebody in Korofi. Someone is Sikimu. That's the picture of Africa. So we need to tolerate one another. We need. Marit said it very well. She said we need to carry each other's burden and celebrate each other's success. You know what I'm saying? And that's the spirit of unity we're talking about. So Idris, this is the first time I'm having this conversation with you. I'm definitely going to want to have more conversation with you. I would love to connect you with some of my people, the team who is working actually in the news sector, because you know, we have some journalists, young journalists there in the university right now studying, and they're taking care of, you know, some news that we do. I would love for you to have a conversation a little bit with them, to inspire them what we're doing, you know, to go a little bit better. So when you're looking forward to train some people, remember us as well. All right?
Okay. Happy to do that. Yeah.
You know I'm saying?
Yes. I'm happy to do that. And I mean, part of me is something, you know, in conclusion, part of me, the person that I am today and where I am today, it's not just by my doing, you know. It's someone else held my hand, someone else, you know, helped to knock the door with me, you know. So it's not just me. All of this is not just as an individual, you know. It's someone else holding my hand. So I think a lot of the times thinking about that, and I'm like, you know what, I can also do the same for someone else, you know. So and that's the thing, by the way, if we all do that for each other, because somewhere someone might have, you know, held your hand or help to open the door, you know, or knock the door with you. You also do it for the next person, because if I succeed, you succeed, you know, and we all succeed together, you know.
Yeah, that's the
all of us.
That's the spirit of Ubuntu right there, Idris. The spirit of Ubuntu, man. That's the spirit of Ubuntu right there. So, my brother, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We'll have more conversation in the future. I'd love to have that with you. So I'll always reach out to you to have that. But thank you very much for coming here today and sharing your knowledge and share your story as well. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to our community. And welcome to the family.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
I appreciate my brother. I'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Okay, cheers, man. All the best. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Man, first of all, I want to appreciate everybody who is watching here. Shout out to members in the house. We have Arthur here. Man, I'm actually seeing you for the first time as a member. So welcome to the membership, and thank you for standing with Swahili Nation, for supporting what we're doing, because this membership, it helps us to continue to move, you know, forward and do our work. I appreciate Marit. I see you there also as a member. Remember, they kind of have like different names and little birds in front of their names. So I appreciate all the members, man. You guys are helping us. You guys are supporting us. I know, you know, I don't really like what StreamYard here, powered by StreamYard, that is here. This is because our plan is finished, and now, you know, we need to repay back to be able to use this properly. We don't have all those kind of like videos of the intro. We don't have different background, and we have all these like, you know, ugly logo right here looking here. It's because it's a new year and we haven't renewed it. But I want to appreciate for those members and people who are supporting us. If you're supporting us with super chat, super stickers, or membership, you guys are helping us to be able to cover those costs. Right now we can't, and that's why we live here. But I appreciate you members who are here, and I appreciate you guys are coming and joining. It's a new year. It's a new year vibe, all right? This year I told myself one thing, that I'm only going to be grateful. I'm going to be grateful when I have. I'm going to be grateful when I don't have. And we say that this year is the year of completeness. We're going to complete everything that we started. We're going to complete everything that we haven't done. We're going to complete everything that we're going to begin. All right. This is the big year. It's a big year for Swahili Nation, because we are going to complete our website. We're going to complete our office. We are going to complete the first project that we are doing, vanilla production. As I'm saying right now, like in one day later, we will be having our farm of vanilla projects already running. So all these things, they're going to be completed. And all praise to God and all thanks to those people who stood up and stand with us. Because when we were talking about our first project, to have smart farm project, and, you know, to eradicate the hunger in Africa, we don't want to see anybody dying because of shortage of food. We don't want to see Africa importing food from the outside. We don't want to see our people struggling. We know they're talking about climate change. They're talking about there's no rain, whatever. But in Africa, we don't want to have a single individual dying because of shortage of food. We don't want to have that. And us as an organization, yes, we don't have income, but what we plan to do and what we decided to do, very few people. We didn't come here and share with everybody because we understand, sometimes people, they don't believe, sometimes people, they're skeptical. So in a very small circle of people, of leaders that we are in there, we came up with a plan that, hey guys, why don't we invest? Let's invest in vanilla production. And as we invest in the short time of 1 year, we'll be able to get back, the money that we invest. We'll get a good amount of money, and we'll be able to do our other projects that we want to do with the money that we're going to receive, because we don't have income. So what we did, few people, very few people, I want to say the number is like 7 people came together and donated a little bit. Somebody put like $1,000. Somebody put $2,000. Somebody put $1,500. And together we came up with the amount that we invested. Right now, as I'm saying, we already invested in a vanilla production right here. We already got the farm. Right now, as I'm saying, we're working on the greenhouse, like we're preparing the farm to be like greenhouse. You already have the banner of Swahili Nation One Africa Foundation vanilla production. You have it. And once that farm is out, guys, I'm going to come here to share the video with you to see our farm, the vanilla production that we invested. Not 7 people came together. Even some of them, they're kids. This one brother, him, his wife, and his kids, man, they stood up and they say, you know what, we want to do this. And at the end of the day, the income that we receive, 60% it goes to the investors, 40% it goes to the organization. So we did that because we need money for the organization. We need to run our stuff. We don't have any income right now, but that will help us in 1 year time to have something for the organization and to continue to do other stuff for ourselves, because we don't want to borrow money. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. That's the thing that we always stand against, our government in Africa, how much we're in debt trapped. We don't want to be in debt trapped. We are going to run things with our own money, regardless of whether it's big money or small money. It doesn't matter, but we're going to run things with our own money. Whatever money that we have, we're going to do it. So if you're going to need to do this live stream, and we have limited number of people right now, they can come and join. And we have this a little logo here powered by StreamYard. We're going to use it because that's the amount of money we do have. So thank God that the project is going well. And very soon we'll be able to share with you guys the video of our farm that, guys, this is the project. And by then, if there will be other people who they're interested, they say, you know what, we want to invest in this production and want to understand more about this, let us know. Once you guys see a few leaders, they came together, we donated our money, we put our money together, and we're doing that project. We'll come, we'll show you guys. If you'll be interested to do as well, we can do again and again and again. We can have like 2 farms. We can have like 3 farms. We can have like 4 farms. And you might be asking, why vanilla? Vanilla is because very expensive, it's very product. And we are only doing that to generate income to do other work that we want to do. All right, so you stay right there. This is the beautiful year. It's the year of completeness. We did this thing last year. Last year we did, and today right here, like today is 10, right? Yeah, in 2 days. In 2 days we'll have our farm. In 2 days we'll have our farm. In 2 days we'll have our farm, and you guys will be able to see. I hope they'll keep they'll keep their promise. But in 2 days we'll have our farm, and you guys will be able to see. And that is Swahili Nation One Africa, and we're moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time, I'll tell you this, man. Ever since I started with this mission 3 years ago, one thing, when you work for Africa and when you have all these plans, usually you struggle with income. Income is the most struggle thing when it comes to Africa, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of us, we sit down and we're like, you know what? I don't have income. I cannot really do anything. Then we're not going to do anything. No, man. No, man. Sometimes you have a vision. The vision is here towards one Africa, so darling, peace and love. You move forward. Whether you have or you don't, God will bring people along your way that will stand with you through thick and thin, will be right there with you. They will expand that vision. They will expand that vision in the ways that you cannot imagine, and you'll be able to achieve what you have in your mind. And right now we are moving forward with this vision, and we're moving forward with the project. I remember first time, man, when we wrote all this proposal of the project. We sent to different couple organizations. A lot of organizations I sent to them. Some of them I went even there. We sent everywhere, to Africans, to international, all of them. But there were no reply from anybody. No reply. And so what is the plan? And I always like to be prepared. So if there's no any income, does that mean we're not going to be able to do our smart farm project? We're like, no, heck no. So the second round, we're like, you know what? If they're not going to do anything, we will do it. We'll do it in the way that we can do it, in our ability. And we came together. 7 people. 7 people, guys. 7 people. And I'm so proud, and I'm so glad, and I'm so pumped. I want to show you guys the picture here of the farm. I want to show you the picture of the farm, but let me just keep. I'll show you guys later when the farm is ready. I'll show you the farm. But you guys, you can see. I want to share the videos, the few episodes of the place and everything. You guys will be able to see it. The videos are available here on YouTube, and now we're working on that. And this year of completeness, guys, we're going to complete every single thing you're thinking about. Right now, as I'm saying, we're already working towards the visitation of the second country we want to go. This year, there's a country we want to go. We are going to West Africa, and we're going there. And we have started to reach out to different people, talk to different people. We're going there, man. We're going there to bring the message that we have. We're going there to stand with our people. We're going there, man, oh, God, I'm so excited. I'm ready to go even right now. I'm ready to go even tomorrow. We're ready even to go like any day. We're ready to go. We can't stand still. While our people are still suffering, are still struggling. We need one Africa in our generation, and the only way to achieve that is for us showing up and showing up and showing up again. And this year, that's what we'll do. This year, less talk, more doings. So when you see here, there's not a lot of live streams, guys. It's because it's less talk. When we started this, we didn't have a lot of live streams like this, people talking. But right now, you have people all over the continent, all over the world talking the message that we've always been talking about. So we give a chance to them. All right, keep talking. Do it. It's good. When we have a lot of platform like this, when you have like 1,000 platforms like this, it's a good sign that our message is reaching out to people, that more platforms are created. So what we do right now, I'll tell you right now, guys, you're not going to see me here talking a lot this year. You're not going to see me. Ain't going to be here talking a lot. Ain't going to be here doing live stream. Ain't going to be here doing that a lot. Ain't going to be here doing that. But it'll be just acting. So you might not be able to see it because I'm not going to be here talking a lot about it because, I realize sometimes there's a time for everything. There's a time that we're doing reaction to videos. And there's a time that we're doing live streams every single day. And there's a time to act. There's a time to do some else. You know what I'm saying? There's a time to do that. And this is the moment to act. Last year, we talked a lot. We did a lot of live stream. You guys, our vision, our mission, our plan. We came here with so many stuff, with so many things like this and this. That last year was the very successful year. We did thousands of things. And I share in the community tab what we have achieved in 2022. Go and see in the community tab. A lot of them. Let me show you here. Let me show you here. YouTube right here. What we have achieved in 2022. There's a list of things. We wrote all the things that we have achieved, plus the links. So you guys, you can see things that were achieved, but also link. If you go here on our YouTube channel, go to this one, community tab. If you click community tab and you go down a little bit, you'll see here, right here. SNOA achievements. Please read. Achievements. Look at this. All these are achievements that what we did last year. And links of videos. So we prepared everything to show you guys the links, what we have achieved, what we have done in 2022, and the link. All of this. And these are not everything. I shared this 9 days ago. All right, all this. And let me see how many comments. We had like 408 likes and we had 7 comments here. Let me read this comment. Asta Ayaleo say, keep going, God is with you. Amen. HQ Jenkins say, my sweet Mikaya, thank you. My sweet you. And then there's a love emoji, all love. There's an emoji there. Keep it up. Yeah, 7 comments. 408 people liked. But these are not Mika's achievement. These are Swahili Nation One Africa achievement. All of this, you go and see it. If you haven't seen us before, if this is your first time, go 2022, see our achievement there. So this year, I want to tell you that this year, I'm telling you right now, this year, you're not going to see my face a lot here. I'm not going to be here talking. I ain't going to do that. I will come, yes, but I'm not going to come here often. We're not going to come here often, but we're going to act. And if you want to be part of it, just contact us, reach out to us. Because even right now, we have been quiet since last year, the end of last year until right now. We've been quiet. Some people, they thought, oh, maybe the passion is gone. Oh, maybe they're done. Oh, this is one of those things that you do and then you disappear. No, man, we ain't disappear. They're working on the ground. If you know what we have been working on the ground, I just share about vanilla production, but that's one thing, you know. If you know what things we've been working on, it's amazing. So if you want to be part of it, just reach out to us. You just know that the work has been done and we need support. We need you guys to be there, but we ain't going to talk much. This year is the year of completion. Completion, guys, completion. And completion is not talking, it's doing it. Last year was the year of action, a year of brutally honest with one another. We're going to keep running with that throughout our lifetime, to be brutally honest and to keep action. And we keep building onto that. When you're talking about completion, you're talking about doing it. You're talking about acting it. Less talk and more doing. Less talk and more doing. So let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I want you guys to talk less this year and to do more. Talk less, do more. You guys have seen, you know, last year I was so active on tweet. I was so active on my social media, talking about this, talking about that. We wrote letters to colonial power to return our artifacts. We wrote a letter to the Ukraine international organization when our brothers and sisters were staying there. We wrote a letter to the president of France when our 2 brothers were killed in Burkina Faso. We wrote so many letters last year. And they were all over social media posting this and this. This year, guys, I want to tell you, man, it's just doing, it's acting. You see us quiet. If you see me not posting or not tweeting, we are going to act. We're going to impact our people's life. We already have a project going on, and we're going to keep doing again and again and again. If you're still skeptical and you're still waiting that, okay, oh, see where this guy will go. Oh, keep watching us because we're moving forward, man. The plan has taken off already. We're not landing anytime soon. The plan has taken off and we are running. And we are running and we are going, we're moving. If you want to know us, if you want to get in touch with us, we have a WhatsApp group. You can always come there, comment. You can always reach out to me. My WhatsApp is open. You can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to our emails. And I know last year, one thing that I need to apologize, all right? These are email. One thing that I need to apologize. Last year, we're supposed to launch our website. And I want to tell you this, guys. Our website is more than 90% is already complete. More than 90%. But we are struggling with just one thing. We were supposed to launch last year already, but we are struggling with this one person who has an access to something. We're struggling with that. So the communication hasn't been so good. And so we haven't been able to try for the last time because we don't have an access, right? And so we have been trying so hard to reach out, and we're still waiting for that. So hopefully this, like hopefully, I don't want to say when, but hopefully as soon as we reach out to this guy, because we find him in so many ways, but we haven't been able to get a hold of him, right? And you know, this is one of the challenges when you're working with different people from all over the world. You don't even know what has happened. You don't even know what is going on. You don't know what is happening in their lives. So sometimes you need to be very patient and you need to be very thoughtful. So, you know, it hurts me that we didn't launch last year, but there's no choice. There's no choice. But our website is almost there. And I think as soon as we launch our website, that's where we can stay connected, because we want to have live streams through our website. We want people to sign up for membership, you know, in the website. We want people to actually start this year, we want people to start giving a little bit of commitment of the fee, because this is an organization, man. We need to run an organization. So if you want to be part of it, of course, you're going to need to, you know, contribute in some way to support the work that has been done. Because I have people right now that are working for this office And they've been working, some of them, they've been working for 2 years, some of them for 1 year, and they receive nothing. So this year, we are going to structuralize in a very good way so that we may support those people who are volunteering day and night to work. You know what I'm saying? The offices that we are getting as well, we are preparing, right now, we're going to be in no time. You know what I'm saying? So all these things, we need the StreamYard right here, Epidemic Sound, and different platforms. So it's gonna be really good year. It's gonna be a really good year. As I say, it's the year of completion, and it's a perfect year. 2023, the third year of Swahili Nation. Your boy, I'm 30 years old. 2023, the perfect year. Oh, God is so good, man. Anyways, guys, so I want to appreciate everybody who came here today, and you guys had a beautiful time. I want to appreciate Idris again. If you haven't seen the conversation with me and Idris, please go back this live stream and watch it again. Share this stream with some people. Like this stream, because it's very important to like, to help us out, to reach out to as many people as we can. Continue to pray for us. We are going on our mission for the second country, and we don't know. We don't have anything right now. We don't have anyone. All right. We are literally empty, but our vision is go to the second country. Last year, we went to Ethiopia. Not once, not twice, 4 times. This year, we're going to another country. I already say in the western part of Africa. I already share on my social media so you guys have seen it. We're going there, and I've already started to reach out to some people, talking, but we haven't found anything. We need support. We need, people in that country. We need sponsorship. We need to be able to do it. And my desire is not to go alone, because in Ethiopia I was alone and it was just overloaded of work. I came to share with you guys how much, I struggled. I got sick at the end of the year, and what they told me, about my sickness, that I was stressed. But this year, I don't want to travel alone. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we go, I want to go with the team. I want to go with Swahili Nation. I want to go with the team so that to reduce the work, to have people holding camera, to have people to do this and that. I want to travel with the team. So we need the support. We need sponsorship. We need people who can step up and be with us. And we need people who can go there with us. Let me just say here, man. We need that. We'll be able to come here back to share with you guys, the country that we are going. If you have been on social media, I think you've seen it already. But we come and do that. We want to put our people on the map. It's a time for Africa to stand for one another. And it's a time to defend one another. It's a time to speak for one another. It's not a time to put sanction on ourselves, on each other. It's not a time to pull each other's down, but it's a time to push each other's up, all right? It's a time to do that, and we're going to do it. So keep us in your prayer, and if there's any way you can support us and help us, I shared with you guys this one, all right? Do you see this? You see this? These are accomplishment that we did in 2022, but here, if you go all the way down, you'll see account name. Our account bank right here. This is the Swahili Nation One Africa Organization account number right here. So if you want to support us for that mission, please go and donate. Donate whatever you have. Let us know, and let us know in the message that this is for the trip, for the country that we go. Because some of you might be able to go there. You might be there with us. Amazing. We'll tell you guys the country later. And some of you might be able to join together. That's amazing. Please come. I wish we can have like 100 Swahili Nation people going to that country for a mission. I love it. That's what we're going to do this year. But maybe you don't. You'll be busy with work. You'll be busy with family. But you say, you know what? I want to go with you guys, but I cannot be there physically, but I want to support. This is the account right there, organization account. Pitch you what you can help and send us there, because we'll be there on the ground. We'll be there on the ground. Send us there. And we'll be there to do, the work that is supposed to do. For whatever reason, man, this mission is going to be accomplished, and it's going to happen by anything. It's going to happen. I know it for sure, because I have that horak. In Korea, we say horak. Horak is like I have that permission from Almighty God himself. I don't say things that I'm not sure yet. But now I know. I know where. And I know that it's time, and we are going there. And God is going to make a way, all right? So, yeah, it's a time for Africa. And we're going to be front line. Going to be front line for anything. For anything. We are ready for anything, man. We are ready for anything. To fight for our people, to fight for this beautiful continent right here. Whatever that is going to happen, we are ready. We are prepared. We are prepared. We are prepared, and God is on our side. You understand that? God is on our side. The fear of God, it leads to wisdom. The fear of man, it leads to destruction. We fear God, we are prepared, and we're ready to go out. There's no fear of man inside my heart. There's no fear of man in us. God is on our side, and we're going to do it. He's called us for this moment, for such a time like this. What a time to be alive, and we're going to do it no matter what. I said, this is not going to be of talking too much. I'm going to pray and get out of here. God, I thank you. I praise you for today. We had such an amazing conversation with Idris, and it has been a very fruitful conversation. And now it shared a couple of things about the project that we are running right now, sharing about the next country destination that we are going. I haven't mentioned the country yet, but just sharing that vision. And I thank you because you're going to raise people that will go there together and serve our people. We're not going there to have fun, but we're going there to serve our people. We're going there to put the stories out there. We're going there to put Africa on the map. We're going there to stand with our brothers and sisters, to let them know that we are there with them. Not just online, but physically. We're going to stand there with them. So help us. Provide the means that we need, the finance that we need, the people that we need. You can provide. You called us to do this, and we're asking you, God, to help us to carry it all the way to the end. I thank you for this beautiful year of 2023, a year of completion. And I thank you because you are the center, and you're going to complete everything that you have started. I praise you. I give you praise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Guys, I love you. God bless you. Thank you for everybody that joined. Thank you for members again. You guys, you mean everything. Why you're not wearing, I'm going to wear that African Heroes t-shirt. You know, my sister, my beautiful sister, has given me a t-shirt that has African Heroes. Maybe let me end up by wearing that t-shirt. All right. So for my birthday gift, my beautiful sister gave me the African Hero t-shirt. Okay. I think this is gonna be the vibe, eh? It's not black, but let me show you guys. This right here is African Hero t-shirt. Let me remove this thing. Guys, I love so hard. These guys, they, you know, because I love Africa, so the only thing they give it to me is African Hero t-shirts. Can you imagine, man? They gave me Africa, like, she gave me this. Look at this. This is my sister, what she gave me. Africa. This is key holder. It's wood, written Africa. Also, she gave me this. This is like the necklace, written Africa. Also, she gave me this t-shirt. You see this t-shirt? This is African Heroes. Let me show you guys. Okay. So, man, I love this t-shirt, man. This is the vibe for this year. It's not black t-shirt, but man, I avoid this t-shirt, all right? So you have, like, you see Nyerere here. What I love so much that you have Magufuli right here. Magufuli is right here. You have Haile Selassie. You have Mandela here. You have Kwame Nkrumah. You have all this, like, look at this. You have Sankara here. But also you have even Che Guevara, man. You have Che Guevara right here. You have Malcolm X right here. All right? Like, you have the entire heroes right here. Look at that. This is going to be the vibe. Not only that, even behind here, man. Everywhere. So, man, like, this is my vibe for this year. Man, this is my vibe, man. Look at this. Yeah, man, you have all the African heroes there right here. Africa. And then here, it's written, the history of Africa. It's right here. That is the history of Africa, but this is going to be the future of Africa. Because one day we'll have all of your pictures right here. Heroes of Africa. This is the t-shirt now. Anyways, guys, I love you. I'm signing out. All right? I love you. I'll see you guys later.